You got a compliment this week. You said thank you, and you felt absolutely nothing. So why does proof of your worth never actually land? Because it was never about getting more proof. You've had a mountain of it, and none of it ever stays. This video is about that exact gap and the one question you've never once asked yourself about it. And look, you already know what you're supposed to feel. Someone says something kind, you're supposed to take it in, let it land, feel a little warmer for the rest of the day. You've read that. You've probably told other people to do it. But that's not what happens to you. The words come in, you nod, you say the right thing back, and somewhere between their mouth and your chest, it just disappears. Like there's a filter you didn't install and can't switch off. So you've started doing the math without noticing. You collect more compliments, more proof, more people who stay, more evidence that you're not the thing you're afraid you are. You think if you just gather enough of it, one day it'll tip over and you'll finally feel it. It never tips over. You've been adding to that pile for years, and the pile doesn't do anything. And here's the part that actually scares you, the part you don't say out loud. If all of that proof didn't fix it, you start to wonder if anything can. There's a name for what you're doing, and once you see it, you'll catch yourself doing it everywhere. Call it the empty vault. You take every good thing anyone gives you and you lock it away somewhere safe. Every compliment, every kind look, every person who chose you. You're sure it's all in there. You'd swear it's in there. But when you actually go looking for it, when you need to feel worth something, you open the vault and it's empty. The proof went in. It never stayed. We're going to come back to that vault later, because the reason it's empty isn't the one you think. Let's go back to before you had a vault. Because you weren't born checking. Somewhere early, you learned that you were worth something when you were good, when you were easy, when you were the one who didn't need much. Maybe it was never said out loud. Most of the time it isn't. You just picked up, the way kids pick up everything, that the warmth came after you did something right, got the grade, made them proud, read the room and became whatever the room needed. So worth stopped being a thing you had and became a thing you earned. And the second something becomes earned, it can be lost. That's the whole trap, right there. If you have to earn it, you can run out. So you never stop working. Watch what you actually do with a compliment now. Someone says something good about you, and there's a half second where it feels nice. And then, almost instantly, your mind does something with it. It files it. It checks it against the list. Okay, that's one. Do they really mean it? Did they say it to be nice? What do they want? By the time you finish processing it, the warmth is gone. You didn't feel the compliment. You audited it. And it's not just compliments. It's every kind of proof, and you've got a different audit for each one. The friend who's stuck around 10 years, you don't feel held by that. You wonder when they'll finally figure you out and go. The partner who chose you, you don't rest in it. You keep a quiet tally of whether you're still earning your place, scanning for the day they realize they could do better. The work you're proud of, it counts for about a day, and then the counter resets to 0, and you have to prove it again tomorrow, from scratch, like yesterday never happened. This is the pile. Every good thing, logged and stacked. And from the outside, it looks like you have so much. Anyone looking at your life would say you're drowning in proof. People remember you. People open up to you. People light up when you walk in. You've got more evidence than most people ever get. If worth were a bank balance, you'd be rich. You'd never have to think about it again. But the pile isn't for feeling good. That's the thing you've never let yourself see. You're not collecting proof to enjoy it. You're collecting it the way someone keeps receipts for a refund they're scared they'll be asked to justify. It's defensive. It's a case you're building. For the day, someone finally says you're not enough, so you can point at the pile and say, look at all of it I am. And here's what that costs you every single day. You can never be still. A person who knows they're worth something can just sit there. Be liked without auditing it. Be loved without checking the math. Take a compliment and let it be the end of the sentence instead of the start of an investigation. You can't. The collecting never stops because the moment you stop collecting, the fear says, now they'll see. So you're tired in a way sleep doesn't touch. Not body tired, something underneath that. You're surrounded by warmth you're not allowed to feel, because feeling it would mean trusting it, and trusting it would mean putting down the pen and stopping the count. And you don't know how to stop the count. You've never known. You've been counting your whole life, and somewhere along the way, the counting stopped feeling like something you do and started feeling like who you are. So if the pile doesn't work, if all that proof goes in and never makes you feel it, the obvious question is why? Why doesn't it land? The easy answer is the one you've been handed 100 times. You don't love yourself enough. You need to work on your self-esteem. You have to learn to receive. And you've tried all of it. You've done the mirror thing. You've repeated the affirmations. You've read the book, maybe a few of them. None of it stuck. And you quietly decided that meant something was extra wrong with you. That even the fix doesn't work on you. That you're the broken one the methods weren't built for. But nothing's extra wrong with you. The fix didn't work because it was aimed at the wrong thing. Every one of those tools was trying to add worth to you. Pour more in, top you up, get the level higher. And your problem was never that there's too little coming in. Look at the pile. There's a mountain coming in. There's more coming in than you could feel in 3 lifetimes. Your problem is that none of it can land. And if you want to understand anything about yourself, you have to stop asking how to get more in and start asking what's catching it before it does. And here's what should bother you about all of that. You've done the work, you've read the books, said the words, tried to let it in, and it didn't take. So either something is broken in you that the methods can't reach, or the methods were aimed at the wrong thing entirely. One of those is true, and I need you to sit in which one you've quietly been believing about yourself, because we're about to find out it's the second one, and that changes everything. Here's what's catching it. Underneath all the collecting, there's a belief you formed so long ago it doesn't feel like a belief anymore. It feels like a fact, like gravity, like just the way things are. The belief is this: what I actually am underneath all the doing is not enough. Not, I haven't proven it yet. Something quieter and worse than that. If they ever saw the real me, the one who isn't performing, isn't useful, isn't reading the room, isn't being good, they would leave. The only reason they're still here is that I've never let them see it. Sit with how that changes everything. Because once that's the thing you believe in your gut, not your head, your gut, watch what has to happen to every single compliment that comes your way. Someone says, "You're wonderful." They mean it. But who are they saying it to? They're saying it to the version of you that showed up, the good one, the easy one, the one who read the room and became what it needed, the one who earned the moment. So the compliment can't land on you. It can't, structurally, get to the real one. It lands on the performance. It lands on the mask. And some part of you knows this instantly, faster than thought, which is exactly why it slides off. You're not rejecting the kindness. Hear that because you spent years thinking you're just bad at taking a compliment. You're not. You're doing something much more precise than that. You're saying, quietly, underneath the "oh stop" and the deflecting joke, you don't mean me. You mean the one I show you. And if you knew the difference, you wouldn't be saying it. That's why the vault is empty. It was never a storage problem. Everything good that comes in gets addressed to someone you don't believe is the real you. And so you file it, and you can't feel it, because feeling it would mean believing they actually saw you. And you are certain all the way down that they didn't. You think the proof doesn't land because there's something wrong with your ability to receive. The truth is, the proof doesn't land because you've quietly decided it was sent to the wrong address. Now, stop. I need you to stop nodding for a second because this is the part that's easy to agree with and walk away from, and I'm not going to let you do that. You've been listening to all of this as if it's something that happened to you, a wound you got, a belief that was installed, the poor kid who learned the wrong lesson about love and warmth and what they cost, and all of that's true. Every word of it. But here's the trap in stopping there. If it's only something that was done to you, you get to stay comfortable because it's still someone else's fault. The parents who only showed up when you performed, the room that only warmed up when you earned it, the people who taught you the math. So here's the uncomfortable question, and I want you to actually sit in it instead of letting it slide past like the compliments do. That belief got installed a long time ago. But who's been keeping it alive every single day since? Because it doesn't run on its own. A belief like that needs maintenance. It needs you to audit the compliments so they never land. It needs you to write the worst-case story every time someone goes quiet. It needs you to wipe the counter back to zero every morning. That's not the wound operating. The wound is decades old. That's you, now, today, doing the upkeep. You're not a child anymore. Nobody's standing over you forcing you to keep the vault empty. Nobody's making you deflect the kind thing your friend said 3 days ago, and you did deflect it. You know exactly which one I mean. The hand on that door isn't your mother's or your father's, or the kid who made you feel small in the 7th grade. It's yours. It has been yours for a long time. That's not an accusation. Read me right here. This is not me telling you it's your fault. The wound was never your fault. But the maintenance is yours, and that's the first thing in this entire pattern that has ever actually been in your control. You just can't use it until you admit it's yours to begin with. So let's ask the question the last part left hanging. Why would anyone keep a pile that never pays out? Why keep auditing the compliments, keep the vault empty, keep running a system that exhausts you and never once, not one single time, makes you feel any better? Why would you maintain something that hurts this much? Because it's doing a job. It's not broken. That's the reframe I need you to actually take in, not just nod at. The emptiness isn't a malfunction. It's a standing guard. Here's what the guard is protecting you from, and it's not what you'd guess. As long as you haven't let the proof in, as long as the vault stays empty, you never have to find out what happens if you let it in and it turns out you were right all along. Think that through, slowly, because this is the center of the whole thing. Right now, you feel a little empty, a little unconvinced, a little like you're getting away with something. That's painful, but it's a manageable pain. You've carried it your whole life. You know its exact weight. Now imagine the alternative. Imagine you actually believed the people who love you. Imagine you let their warmth all the way in, rested in it, built your sense of yourself on top of it. And then one of them left, or saw the real you on a bad day and pulled back, or simply stopped, the way people sometimes do, for reasons that have nothing to do with you. If that happened after you'd let it in, it wouldn't be a disappointment. It would be a confirmation. It would be the proof that the thing you've always feared is true, that the real you isn't enough to keep, and you'd have bet everything on the opposite and lost. That doesn't feel survivable. The empty, managed pain does. So you choose it, every day, without knowing you're choosing, so you don't bet. You keep the proof at arm's length, logged but never felt, banked but never spent, where it can't be taken from you because you never let yourself actually have it in the first place. You can't lose what you never held. The empty vault isn't failure, it's insurance. You stay a little starved on purpose because starving is survivable, and the alternative, believing it, then losing it, doesn't feel like it is. That's the standing guard. And I want to say this clearly because it matters. It has kept you safe for years. It is not stupid. It is not weakness. It is a frightened, brilliant solution that a younger version of you built when the danger was real, and it has been standing at that door, faithfully, ever since. I'm not going to insult it. It did its job. But, and everything turns on this, you're not in the situation it was built for anymore. Now I'm going to turn this all the way around, because we've reached the thing this whole video has been walking toward. I've been talking about the proof. Like the problem is that it won't land. Like you're the victim of a vault that won't open, a filter you didn't install. But that's backwards, and it's time to say it straight. The vault opens fine. The filter was never the problem. You're the one holding it shut. So here it is, the question underneath all of it, the one you have genuinely never asked, not once, in all the years you've spent worrying about this. You've spent your whole life collecting proof that you matter. You never asked why none of it ever stayed, and now you know why. It never stayed because you wouldn't let it. Because a part of you decided a long time ago that it was safer to feel a little empty forever than to feel full once and risk having it ripped away. You didn't fail to feel your worth. You refused to. Quietly, expertly, every single day. Because refusing felt like the only way to survive being wrong about yourself. That is not weakness. I'll say it again so it lands. That is the most understandable thing in the world. A part of you is trying to keep you alive. But I need you to see it for exactly what it is, because you cannot change a thing you keep calling by the wrong name. You've been calling this, I can't feel it. You've built years of quiet shame on top of that word. Can't, like it's a defect, like you're missing the part other people have. It was never can't, it was won't. And won't is something you have a say in. Let me show you the guard working in real time, because you've watched it happen 100 times and called it something else every time. Picture the last time someone told you something good and meant it, really meant it. Not a passing nicety, the kind where they stopped, looked at you, and said the true thing. I don't know what I'd do without you. You're the best thing that happened to me. You have no idea how much you matter to me. Now watch what you did in the next 3 seconds. You didn't let it in. You deflected. Made a joke, said, oh stop, turned it back on them, found the exit, changed the subject, suddenly needed to refill your drink, and you told yourself afterward that that was modesty. Humility. Not making it weird. It wasn't any of those things. That was the guard. For 1 second, the vault door was open and something real was about to land, and you slammed it shut and reached for the joke, because letting it in was more dangerous than the small, awkward moment you created instead. You'd rather make it awkward than let it land. Every time. Or take this one, because it's the one you'd never connect to any of this. Someone close to you got quiet, or canceled, or took a day longer than usual to text back, and before you even knew their reason, before you had a single fact, you'd already written the entire story. They're done with me. They finally saw it. This was always coming. I knew this would happen. You didn't wait. You reached for the worst version instantly, fully formed, like it was sitting there ready. And here's the tell. There was almost a relief in it. A grim, terrible relief. Like, there it is. The bad news I've been saving up for my whole life, finally arriving. That's not anxiety. That's the guard, collecting the exact evidence it was built to expect, proving its own case so you'll never disarm it. Or the smallest one, the one that happens most, the one so quiet you've never once questioned it. You did something genuinely good, helped someone who needed it, made the thing you were proud of, showed up when it was hard. And for about a day, you felt almost okay. Almost like maybe you were all right, and then the next morning it was gone. The counter was back at 0. Yesterday didn't carry over. You had to start earning from scratch, like the good thing had a 24-hour expiry and then dissolved. You called that being driven, being humble, never resting on your laurels, having high standards. It was none of those. It was the guard wiping the vault overnight, clearing the balance so you'd never have enough bank to feel safe. Because if you ever felt safe, you might stop performing. And stopping is the one thing it is most afraid of. None of those moments felt like a choice. That's the cruelest part. They felt like just you, your personality, your wiring, the way you've always been. But now you've seen the machine underneath all 3 of them, and you can't unsee it. Every single one was the same move, run on different material. Proof arrives, guard intercepts, vault stays empty. You stay safe and starved and completely certain it's just who you are. It isn't who you are, it's what you've been doing, and the entire difference between your old life and a different one lives in the gap between those 2 sentences. So what do you actually do with this? Not a program, not 10 steps, not a morning routine. One move, and I'll warn you now, it's smaller than you want it to be, because the part of you that loves collecting would love a big complicated system to master. This isn't that. The next time proof shows up, someone says the kind thing. Someone stays, someone chooses you, someone tells you the true thing. You're going to feel the guard reach for it. You'll feel it load up. The deflection, the joke, the audit, they don't really mean it, the urge to change the subject. You know the feeling now. You've felt it your whole life and never had a name for it. That half second, right there, between the proof arriving and you doing something to it, that's the whole thing. That half second is the only place in this entire pattern where you have any power at all. Not in feeling worthy. You can't force that, and trying will just become one more thing to audit. Just in that half second before you slam the vault. And in that half second, you do one thing. You let it land. You don't analyze it. You don't earn it. You don't check whether they meant it or what they want. You just let the sentence sit on you for one single breath without doing anything to it at all. No filing, no weighing, one breath. That's it. Call it letting one land. It will feel wrong. I want you ready for that, because if you're not, the wrongness will convince you it isn't working. It'll feel like dropping your hands in the middle of a fight. And that's exactly what it is, which is why the guard will scream. It'll tell you you're being naive, that you'll get hurt, that you haven't earned the right to feel this yet, that this is how people make fools of themselves. Let it scream. The screaming is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're doing the one thing it was built to prevent. Let the one thing land anyway. One compliment, one breath, no audit. You are not going to feel worthy the first time. Hear that clearly. Because if you measure it that way, you'll quit by Thursday. That is not the point. The point is that you will have proven one single time that you can let something in and survive it. The vault opened and nothing terrible happened. You're still here. Nobody left. The sky held. Do that enough times, one landed thing at a time, no rush, no streak to maintain, and something slow starts to happen. The guard begins to stand down. Not because you argued it into submission, not because you finally convinced yourself you're enough, because you showed it over and over with evidence it can't dispute, that the catastrophe it's been bracing for all these years simply never comes. It learns the way it originally learned, through repetition, through lived proof. You taught it the door was dangerous. Now you teach it the opposite, one open breath at a time. That's the whole move. Not collect more. You have enough. You've always had enough. Keep one. Here's the thing I most need you to take with you, and it's not comfortable, so I'm not going to dress it up. Nobody is coming to fill the vault for you. Not the right compliment, not the right person, not the love that finally feels like enough to convince you. You already got those. You're surrounded by them right now. If outside proof could have done this, it would have done it already. You have collected more evidence of your worth than most people see in a lifetime, and you still feel exactly the way you feel. So stop waiting for the one piece of proof that finally lands. Stop saving up for the compliment, the relationship, the achievement that tips it all over. There isn't one. There was never going to be one. The waiting itself was just the guard's favorite trick, because as long as you're waiting for the outside to fix it, you never have to do the one thing on the inside that would. The only thing that was ever going to change this is you, in that half second, deciding to let one thing in. Not because you finally earned the right to, because you got tired, genuinely bone-deep tired, of standing guard at a door nobody was even trying to break down. And that's the part that's actually yours. The wound was never your fault. You were a kid, you learned what kept you safe, and anyone in your shoes would have learned the same thing. Lay that guilt down. It was never yours to carry. But the guard is yours now. The audit is yours. The empty vault is something you quietly rebuild every single morning. And that, exactly that, is the best news in this entire video. Because it means you're also the only person alive who can stop. So I'll leave you with the question. Not the one you walked in with. You walked in asking why you never feel like enough, no matter what anyone says. I hope you can feel it by now. That was never the real question. It was the wrong address, same as all the proof. The real one is quieter, and it's going to be waiting for you the very next time someone says something kind, and you feel that old familiar reach to push it away. What are you so afraid would happen if you finally let it in? If this was the first time someone described the inside of your head accurately, you already know whether this channel is for you. I'll see you in the next one.